A clef is a musical symbol used to indicate the pitch of the written notes. So if you've ever seen a piece of music, you'll notice that there's one of these symbols on the far left of the staff that shows what to play based on the notes on the staff. So you see here there are 4 types of symbols for clefs. So this is known as the G clef because if you see the little curly in the middle, where the line is meets the curly, that's always going to be the G, no matter where it's placed on the staff. Same goes with the F clef. This dot in between the lines, this note here will always be an F, no matter where it is on the staff. The C clef, same idea. In between right here, that's going to be C, no matter where it is on the staff. And percussion, these are for instruments that don't have any pitch. On the music, you're just going to see X's for rhythm, but we're going to focus on treble clef and bass clef because those are the most common. But I am going to show you that there are more than just treble and bass clef.
There's French clef, like the French violin. Treble clef is soprano clef, mezzo soprano clef, alto clef, tenor clef, baritone clef, which are both are the same, interchangeable. Bass clef and sub-bass clef.
There is a music alphabet, I would say. These are all of the note letters in music. You can start it literally at any letter, but I just chose to start at A. In music, there's A, B, C, D, E, F, G, and then it just goes back to A. I'm going to show you how to read for treble clef to make it a little easier for you.
So if I draw my treble clef here,
This is the G clef, and I'm going to write my G right here. I personally like to use mnemonics to remember stuff, and I think that they're really helpful. For the treble clef, let me just write it down really quick. What I like to use to remember for the lines, so I'll write treble line notes, is every good boy does fine. If you can see here, that's an easy way to remember the line notes of the treble clef. And then for the space notes, I just remember F-A-C-E, face, the word face, E, F, G, A, B, C, D, E, F. I want to show you ledger lines. It's just an extension of the staff. So if I were to write a note up here, if this note is F, since it's labeled right here, this is G. And then a ledger line would be above this note. If you remember the alphabet, after G comes A, so this would be A.
this would be B, this would be C.
You can also do it below. So if this is E, like I said, over here, this would be D, and then you can use ledger lines like for the bottom, like this is C.
B, A, so on.
Now I'm gonna show you how to read notes on the bass clef. This is my bass clef, which is also the F clef. And here is my F. So let me just fill it out first. Okay, so I have more mnemonics for you for the bass clef lines. There's great big dogs fight animals. That's how I remember it. And then for the bass clef space notes, I have yet another mnemonic. All cows eat grass. Name these notes with me. It goes G, A, B, C, D, E, F, G, A. For ledger lines, if this is A, as I said before, this note would be B, and this would be C.
And that would be D. And then E.
And if I go below, this is G like I said, and then this is F and E.
And D.
Right here, I've written a bunch of random notes that hopefully you do know how to read. I advise you to pause the video, try to figure these out, and then unpause it. I'm gonna reveal the answers. So just to keep in mind, line notes in the treble clef, every good boy does fine, and then space notes, F-A-C-E. Remember here, line notes for bass clef, great big dogs fight animals, and space notes for bass clef, all cows eat grass. So here are the answers to the random notes that I chose. If you are confused how I got them, I would suggest you go back to the part where I explained the mnemonics. I wanted it to be really clear what sharps and flats were. So this is a sharp, and this raises the note one step up. If you were to see it in music, it would look like either like this or it would be preset. I will talk about later. And then here's flat, the symbol for flat. It lowers the note one step down. And if you saw that in music, it would again just be here. And then here is the natural sign, which shows that the note has no sharp or flat. And usually it's put after the note, the same note previously did have a sharp or flat. So that would just look like this. To get a better understanding of sharps and flats, I drew the piano and I label the notes. So the black keys are sharps and flats, so depending on how you do read it, if this is C, if you raise it the half step up, that's going to be C sharp. And then here's D. If you were to lower it a half step, that would be D flat. So this note is either C sharp or D flat, depending on the way you look at it. Again, here is the letter D, and this black key would be a half step up, risen, D sharp, and then here's E, a half step lowered, E flat. So this note right here would be D sharp or E flat. The same for the rest.
This black key would be F sharp or G flat. And so here, this one would be G sharp or A flat. And this one would be A sharp or D flat.
Okay, so now here are the order of sharps. So basically, if you ever pick up a piece of music, you're going to see one of the following clefs, and then next to it, there are going to be an arrangement of sharps or flats. And so depending on the amount of sharps or flats, or if there are none, that'll show which notes have to be sharp or flat to match the key. I'll further explain that a little later. Here are the order of the sharp notes. So F, C, G, D, A, E, B. A little mnemonic I have for this is fat cats go down alleys eating bologna. If you were to pick up a piece of music and you saw that there was one sharp, as so, you would know that whenever you saw an F, no matter where it was, if it was up here or down here, that F is assumed to be sharp unless said so otherwise with an accidental. So an accidental is going against the key that it already has said to be in. So if the F, for instance, had a natural sign, then you would play a natural F, or if the F had a flat sign, you would play it flat. Those are accidentals because it goes against the written key. And like a major scale or like a major key is like a happy sounding key.
Clap along if you feel like a room.
And if you were to figure out like the happy sounding keys in sharps, if it had one sharp, that would be F sharp, and you would go the next key over. So like this is the last sharp is F sharp, so then it would be G major, and then
If the last sharp was C sharp, it would be D major because it's C up is D. If the last sharp was G, it would be A major because it's one note up, and so on.
so here are the order of flats. So there's B flat, E flat, A flat, D flat, G flat, C flat, and F flat. So a way that I remember these is the word bead, B-E-A-D, and gum, candy, fruit. Or if you want to be creative, you can also make up your own mnemonics. There's nothing wrong with that. One that might be kind of cool to remember is bead, grace, can, fly. So something kind of interesting, what I thought was interesting is if you see that this, the order of the sharps, they're exactly the same, but backwards. If you can see, bead, gum, candy, fruit, and then fat cats go down alleys eating bologna. They're exactly the same, but in opposite directions. As I mentioned before, when I was explaining the order of sharps, if you want to find the major keys according to the order of the flats, if we start with our first flat, that is going to be an F major. That one's just kind of random. I don't know, you just have to like remember that. But for the rest of them, if there are more than one flat, it's the second to last flat that is the major key. So for instance, if there's a B flat and an E flat, that is B flat major. If there's B flat, E flat, A flat, then it's E flat major, and so on. The second to last flat is the major key. Here I drew the circle of fourths and fifths. All of the outside letters represent the major keys, and I have written the amount of sharps or flats that go with them. So as I said before, the orders of sharps and flats are consistent. So for instance, if there was only one sharp, you would know that that's F sharp. And if there were two sharps, it would be F sharp, C sharp, etc. Here from C, this side, it goes in fifths, so this is like the circle of fifths on this side. So if it was like C, D, E, F, G, and from here it moves from fourths, so C, D, E, F. Here are the minor key. A minor key would be more of like a sad sounding key. I wrote them corresponding to their major scales because they have the same amount of sharps or flats, but it starts on different keys, so then it has a minor sound. To find out a minor key based from the same amount of sharps or flats as the major key, you would have to count 3 notes backwards. So for instance, let's start with C major. So if you count 3 notes backwards, it would be C, B, A major. If you were to count 3 backwards from E flat, it would be E flat, D, C. Just like a quick way how to find the relative minor and relative major to each other.